Assalamualaikum dan hai semua. Terima kasih dan welcome, selamat datang ke vlog saya. Saya jarang bervlog, but then ataupun post video on YouTube channel ni. But since I'm just recently done dengan master's program saya, and hence I have a bit of time to share some cool videos dengan you all. And basically just a bit of background of what I studied for my masters. It is basically it's called industrial organizational psychology. I know it's a mouthful, but it's basically a branch of psychology related to helping organizations and the people in organizations menggunakan knowledge dan aplikasi dari psychology lah basically. So basically as you can see dekat title tu, bagaimana nak menangani stress daripada communication overload. Sekarang dengan teknologi abad ke-21, you know, seamless, people can access you 24/7 wherever you are, termasuk you know time you tengah tidur pun you mimpi, you don't reply message. Okay, so what do you do to handle you know communication overload, especially through WhatsApp? You know, people send you message, they expect you instant reply. You tak reply within 1 minute, expectation tu dah low sikit kan. So whether you are in a work setting dengan coworker, dengan boss, dengan mungkin ada orang ada report kat you, ataupun your own business, if you're doing your own freelancing, you know, it's constant communication. Sometimes you just lose yourself because you can't have quality time, whether it's your lunch time, your break time, ataupun time you spend with your family. It just goes on and on. You can't have a decent conversation dengan anak, ataupun attention dengan anak if you have kids, younger kids especially, because you are always focusing on either your computer ataupun on your phone lah basically. So yeah, I have 4 tips lah basically, and saya dah buat abbreviation siap-siap. Not fancy, bukan RISE, bukan size. It's R.N.C.I. Okay, ingat je R.N.C.I. So R.N.C.I ni stands for what? Rule, norm, communication, implementation. Okay, so what does it mean? So basically rule is basically setting those boundaries. Okay, so if you're on WhatsApp, kita guna WhatsApp sebagai example senang sikit. Rule. So mungkin you have certain rules untuk like certain group of people. You don't have to have banyak set of rules. For example, you can start off with 1 or 2. One set of rules untuk orang yang related dengan business or work, and another one untuk social. Mungkin, and maybe untuk family member, maybe rule tu pun kita lower sikit lah, because it's family kan. Family is always important. So maybe 1 for work, 1 for social. Social can be WhatsApp group, masjid, or alumni sekolah, college, university and so on. Or if you are involved in charity work, mungkin you have groups for that. Work, anybody from the work or business setting kan. So have the rules, like and this rule is up to you, up to your creativity. You nak buat macam mana, by time ataupun certain time you don't open those messages, you don't reply those messages, ataupun even to some people certain days they don't bother nak tengok those messages, because sometimes once you start you just don't stop. So have those rules, and it's a mental note untuk you lah. Okay, because if you don't have that rule, that is when sometimes just through communication kita boleh stressed and tired, and so have those rules. Simple kan? So when I was working in my previous company, I had that rule. Basically kalau in terms of work, and mine was a bit strict lah, in terms of work, kalau WhatsApp tu, kalau after working hours, I do not look at those messages. I don't send messages. Okay, because kalau saya send message, then the expectation from the receiving party, oh dia ni okay lah kalau nak bincang about work after 8 or 9, something like that kan. So have your rule, and depending on your situation, then your rule dengan orang lain punya rule might be different lah. So have some rule, because benda ni akan jadi baseline to the expectation for yourself and the people around you. Okay, to number 1. Number 2, R.N.C.I, norm. So establish that norm. So establish that norm tu, daripada that rule tu, the next step is establish the norm. So you actually put it into practice, and it becomes your norm. Okay, some people your rule is, you don't want to mix work punya communication dengan social and so on. Some people have 2 phones. So if you think you can afford to not bring that work phone around when you are not at work, and maybe your boss has your second number as an emergency, if you can afford to do that, buat tu contoh lah, put it into practice, and practice it supaya it becomes a norm, and it becomes your second nature. You don't have to keep reminding yourself, okay, and try not to break the rule lah and the norm. Okay, number 3, ni sometimes ni kita lupa nak buat, and this is where sometimes our friends pun macam ataupun our colleagues, co-worker, or even our business, our clients macam okay, they ada what's the word, miscommunication dengan kita, because we had that rule, we had that norm, tapi that expectation tu kita tak share dengan orang-orang yang related tu. So communicate dengan orang, jadi macam terms and condition lah kan. So make sure you beritahu diorang kalau maybe messages on certain days or certain hours, is either you can reply the day after, ataupun ada time frame you can reply afterwards, and so communicate with them. And then this one is also another one, part of the norm, if I can share with you. Kalau you have banyak numbers, and every time you send a message to a certain person, you use different numbers, and then the reply pun dia tak tahu, so itu problem. So try to stick to one medium of communication. And kalau banyak account, be it email ataupun phone number, for example email pun you ada 5, so when you communicate dengan orang, you just use that particular email ataupun that particular phone number. Of course kalau ada bateri kaput, then of course you can use your emergency number, your second number and so on. So at least bila dia reply, and for example the phone yang you selalu guna tu tak ada dengan you, or what I'm saying is, you always use, for example, the first number, tapi when you send a message to that person using the second number, and phone, and dia, I don't know, dia reply, dia dah biasa reply to that number, their first number, you didn't get that communication, so it becomes a problem. Okay, so try to stick to a norm lah. Okay, so I think I'll just go on to the last tip, which is implement. So you dah set your rule, your norm, you dah communicate dah, so implement. They say word speak louder than action. No, action speaks louder than word. So put your words, put your thought, your rule and norm into action, and hopefully things will be less stressful for you lah. Okay, bukan your life and your hours in a day to spend just replying to messages. And then also bonus tip, if you can confine 7 lines, individual lines dalam WhatsApp tu kepada a paragraph ataupun pointers, when you type to pointers, then do that, so at least orang nak baca pun senang lah, especially kalau message you panjang. And ini tip last whether it's email ataupun WhatsApp, if you have expectation ataupun you expect the person you are communicating with to reply, or take action from your message tu. Make sure you highlight lah, okay? For example, please let me know if you can meet tomorrow, ataupun nak spesifik lagi supaya you tak pening and kena tanya banyak kali. Hopefully, for example, hopefully you can reply to me by today. That kind of thing lah. So and that also can be a rule and norm juga, especially kalau if you notice in work email, normally you akan put that liner lah. You nak the third part, the other party to take like what sort of action following that communication. So it's 10 minutes, and I don't want this to drag any further. So hopefully you all dapat benefit lah dari just short video. So R.N.C.I, establish your rule, stick to it, establish a norm, practice it, communicate your rule and norms as to set expectation, and put it into practice, implement it, and hopefully your life will be a tad less stressful in this already stressful world, complex world of advanced technology and 24/7 communication. I'm Juliana, and thanks for watching. Bye.